We're not going to get started yet, but I do have a question. What is that thing on that chair? No, like, is that a thing? Is that a particular shape? I don't know what it is. Oh. Oh, it's an octopus. It does look like an octopus. It matches my jacket. That works out well. Okay, good. Since we have a few minutes, because I want to wait for a lapel mic, it may not happen. Does anyone here already know what you do want to be known for? Like, does that question resonate with anybody yet? Yeah? Do you know? Can I ask you? Can I ask you into the microphone? Yeah? Okay. What do you want to be known for?
I want to be known for as a person who really works on accessibility within his field, with his own special needs, because I'm a person with autism and I do a lot. I travel the world as a speaker. I also work on software projects for people with other disabilities, and I find it really important, honestly.
I saw a couple other people raise their hands. Do you feel like you know how to answer that question?
Now nobody's going to answer.
Yeah. Will you tell us what you want to be known for? Come on in.
Well, I'd like to be known for a person which is enjoyable and colleagues love to work with. Really, like teammates should be proud of working with me and happy about it.
All right, do you have any teammates that are here? Because I'd love to ask them.
They are at PyCon, but not here. That's why I'm saying it.
Anyone else? What do you want to be known for? Do we get me one? No? I'm all good. Come on in. We have plenty of room. There's lots of seats. Is someone saving this seat? That would be so amazing. No. Who else? What do you want to be known for? I feel like I just saw an answer flash across your eyes. Would you be willing to share it? Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be remembered.
Did you come with somebody here?
No.
No one in this room knows this person? Nobody? Okay. All right. You ready? Okay.
Yeah. All right. We're already getting acquainted with our speaker, but nevertheless, I guess I should introduce her. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so super excited to introduce Angela Packard on a presentation titled "What Do You Want to Be Known For?"
Yay, thank you. Hi. How is everybody? Good. You. How soon did you realize you were not going to be able to get work done in this talk? It was pretty quick, right? Yeah. So it's really nice to be here. I love talking about really anything in this space, really anything that has to do with wanting to leave a legacy, with being able to really live your happiest life. And that can sound really cheesy, okay? And so we're gonna drop into some really great stuff. I didn't test this before. Let's see how it goes. Oh, there it is, yes. I could have called this talk, "What do I do?" Okay, we ask ourselves this question like a million times a day, right? What do I want to do for lunch? What time do I want to do this? When was the last time you asked yourself, what do I want to do? What? Which talk to attend? Exactly. If I get a coffee, if I have 2 coffees, if I have 5 pastries, we are constantly asking ourselves what we want to do, right? So sometimes the answers are easy. Yes, I want 5 pastries. Sometimes they're not. Do I take this job that pays me a lot of money, but I'm not sure I'm going to be happy there, and it's really far away, right? So what we're going to talk today is I'm going to teach you a tool for how to learn how to make decisions faster with more ease and no regret. Does that sound good? Sounds like a good thing to do, right? All right. So we're going to talk about values. Values is the way that we learn how to make decisions faster with more ease and without regret. So using values to diagnose any situation is powerful. Once you understand why things drive you the way they do, you begin to take the wheel. Okay. You guys get dizzy when you see this? Are we okay reading? Okay. So when we get a chance to understand our values, we can suddenly, there's nothing suddenly about it, okay? It's the technique that gets us there. We can diagnose what's happening, what leap to take, how to handle things, why things aren't working, why you're not getting back what you put in. How often do you feel like you're putting in so much of yourself and you're like, I'm not getting back everything that I put into this? It helps you understand why you're not feeling satisfied even when you've done all the things. So the way I describe all the things is you go to the right school, you make the good choices, you're early to work, you're late to work, you're doing the things, you're reading the things, you're doing all the shit that you're supposed to be doing, but you don't feel any happier and you can't figure out why, okay? I believe that knowing your values is a superpower that you can apply to any situation. All right. So, what is a value? Does anyone here know how you would define what a value is? What's a value? Yeah.
Is it a belief that becomes part of your identity?
Yeah, it's a belief that becomes part of your identity. Things that make up our values are our family systems, good or bad. The communities that we grow up in, good or bad. The messages that we receive about our intelligence, the color of our skin, our bodies, our disabilities, our talents. They can come from religion. They can come from a variety of places. I believe that the best way to describe a value is that it's your beliefs in action. So I always say that we reveal our values by how we spend our time. Take it in for a second. We reveal our values by how we spend our time. So when you choose to watch 8 hours of Netflix, you're revealing the value in that moment that means the most to you. Sometimes the value is, I have been working all week and I want a chance to do nothing for 8 hours, but just get some pleasure and enjoy this. Sometimes we're watching Netflix for 8 hours because we want to disconnect and we don't want to feel things. Those are two ways that we lived our values, by watching Netflix for 8 hours. How you spend your time is how you reveal your values. So I want you to notice how you spent your time leading up to this conference. Were you preparing your talk in advance? Were you over-preparing your talk? Were you nervous about what you looked like or what you're currently doing for work? Were you excited to see people and making friends? Were you trying to get out of coming because you were anxious and you were nervous? How you spent your time leading up to the time you came here reveals to you and to those around you what you believe. I believe that values are the driving force behind your decision making. They are the driving force behind your decision making. So the reason that I love to look at values work is because in making decisions, instead of thinking about the problem, the decision I'm trying to make, I think about the values that I'm trying to honor if I make that decision in a certain way. It becomes so much more simple. Every time we make a decision, there's too many factors. There's too many things to try to figure out. And if you're in this room, I can be practically positive that you are very good at weighing options, exploring different possibilities, over-exploring different possibilities. Okay? So when you can look at a problem and say, how does this uphold my values? Or how does this step on my values? It makes the decision making so much easier. All right, so in this session, as you saw before, you're gonna discover your top 2 personal values. You're gonna learn how to use creativity to get clarity. You're gonna learn how to make decisions that feel right. And hopefully you'll discover that values are the secret to creating a legacy. All right, let's go. I love that cat face so much. I love it. Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to do in the world. We're gonna decide what makes you an angry cat. So this is my partner. His name is Justin. I love him. He's a truly wonderful person. I did a good job choosing him. Sometimes he can make me so angry in my heart. Usually it involves the dishwasher. Okay. It's a dishwasher. So I'll say, hey, honey, can you please unload the dishwasher when I'm out for a walk? Sure, no problem. And I'll come back and I'm all sweaty and I'm so excited to make breakfast and I open the dishwasher. The dishes are still in there. They're still inside of the dishwasher. And I can feel myself become angry in a way that is not appropriate for dirty dishes. They're just dirty dishes inside of a machine. Well, clean dishes, actually. Clean dishes inside of a machine. And I become angry in a way that's not okay. I can feel myself get so pissed about something so small. The great thing about values work is that it gives us the chance to notice, hi, welcome. It gives us the chance to notice a value that's getting stepped on, okay? When my beautiful, amazing partner does not put away the clean dishes, it's not the dishwasher, it's not the clean dishes, it's that I have a big value around follow through and doing what you say you're gonna do. It means a lot to me. It's like a really, really big deal to me. So instead of saying, hey, asshole, you didn't empty the dishwasher, I can say, honey, I feel like my value is a follow through. And keeping your word, I feel like you stepped on those. Okay, and that's exactly how it goes. Every single time. It's amazing. So I want you to think about something right now that you can feel yourself become so angry fast in a way that doesn't feel right. There's something about the anger that happens very quickly, okay? So I want you to close your eyes. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, if you don't, keep them open. I'm right here. I want you to take a big deep breath in through your nose. You're in a mask, you're fine. And I want you to think about something that makes you really angry. The kind of anger where maybe you get a little sweaty, you feel something in your belly shake. Maybe it's not a response that feels what you would consider to be appropriate. Okay? You can keep your eyes closed or open them whenever you're ready. Who feels like they instantly can identify something that they get really angry about? It's a safe space. Yes, I'm coming for you.
One thing that really annoys me at work is when there's these kind of conversations debating which language is better than the other language. And that really frustrates the hell out of me.
Good one. So can we open this for a second? Okay, so she was talking about at work, there's a big debate over which language is better, okay? So if you were to look at the values, and we're gonna keep defining this, that live inside of that conversation, what do you feel like they're stepping on by having a conversation about which is better? Do you know? Can you tell us? Just be loud.
I think it's to do with like not being very inclusive in a conversation and like simplifying things down to like very subjective, like I like this language, I like that language.
Totally.
Of course, there are some technical differences between them.
Yes.
But when you just have a conversation like this, it really excludes people who maybe don't have that level of knowledge around it.
What did we just learn about one of her biggest values at work? What did she just say? What's a big value that she values at work? Inclusion. So instead of saying, we can't say hey assholes at work. You could, I guess, it's fine. This is a stupid conversation. Why are you talking about this? It gives you a chance to say, you know what, every time you bring that up, I feel like you're closing inclusion in this place. And now we're talking about inclusivity. We're not talking about the debate anymore. Ding, ding. Okay, you've already got one. I'd love to hear another one. What's something else that makes you so angry? You don't have to know the value inside of it. Be able to identify that thing that gets you so angry. Yes, I knew I'd get you to answer something.
I was really pissed off by my boss because he told me that the technical solution was working fine. Then I found out that he never tested it, and he just said because he thinks about it. So I was like really angry because I told him that if you don't know a thing, don't tell me that it's correct.
Okay, keep this for a second. So let's stay here. All right. So obviously, there's something about the behavior and the intention that really compromised a value for you. Can you figure out what that value is? Yes. Yes. My intuition tells me that you are incredibly competent at your work, and you would never send something to somebody if it wasn't finished, and you would never respond saying that it was correct had you not checked it thoroughly. Am I correct? Because that's what you value. So can you see how your anger becomes a really powerful tool in figuring out a value? Okay, here's the best part. Now when you find yourself getting so angry about something, whether it's in public because someone cut you off, whether you watch somebody touch someone else's body, and you have a value around physical autonomy, you now have the ability and the language to either speak into it and claim what that is, or you have a chance to point to the person. One of them is going to make your values come to life, and one of them is going to close the conversation instantly. So here's why this is impactful with your team. So here, how many people here lead a team? If you lead one person, you lead a team. Okay, how many people have a family or more than one person in your house? Okay, you lead a team. All right. The impactful thing about noticing anger, and especially with a team, and when you lead a team, is that if you have someone on your team have a response that's very inflammatory and very angry, instead of talking about the behavior, you have a chance to say the following: I can tell that something really got stepped on for you. I can tell that there was something that was important to you that got compromised. Can you share with me what that thing was? Because now you're not talking about the behavior. Someone reacted in that way because they became very, very angry about something that mattered to them. Now notice how that works with your families. With our families, people have a lot of opinions, and there's a lot of heated conversations that happen, right? But with family, all of a sudden we lose all sense of reality and discipline, and we just want to go after the behavior. This can become really impactful to talk about with your families, with your friendships, and in your relationships. I can see that something got stepped on for you. Can you tell me what that thing was? Okay. All right, that's value 1. We're going to 2. Yeah. Values discovery exercise number 2. What would you laser infuse? Okay. So I want you to imagine that you have a laser machine, okay? And every person in the entire world is going to walk through this machine and be infused with one quality. What would that quality be? Caring. What else? That was you. Thank you, Ernesto. What's another one? What would you infuse into everyone who lived in this planet? Respect. Patience. Goodwill. Creativity. Honesty. Whatever quality you would infuse to every person in this world is one of your top values. So I want you to take your value, your angry cat value, take your laser cat value, and now we're going to put our values into action. These are values in action. Okay, that's what you're witnessing. We're witnessing style, we're witnessing nature, we're witnessing work-life balance. Okay, that's values in action. Taking your top 2 values, and are they your top 2? I don't know. It depends on how much values work you've done, but they're the most impactful. We just looked at the thing you would give everyone on the planet, and we looked at the thing that makes you so angry so fast. They're a wonderful place to begin this work, okay? I want you to think of the biggest decision that you're currently working with in your life. Oh, yeah, I just saw about 5 people just... Everyone else just started crying. It was weird. I want you to think about the biggest decision that you're currently making in your life, okay? And I want you to think about those 2 values and just notice the focus that you put on those two values as you go through making that decision. What happens? What's interesting is half the room just went, there was a little drop. Because when we come to decisions, they mean so much because our lives matter to us, the direction of our lives. Every person in this room wants to feel deeply, deeply fulfilled and deeply appreciated. And so when you look at a heavy, big decision through the lens of your two values, all of a sudden your shoulders drop because you now have a piece of information that cuts out a lot of the clutter, okay? So I want to leave you with this quote because I find this to be really powerful. If you don't know your values, you're honoring someone else's. I feel like I need to sit down every time I read that. We come from family systems, communities, a society that has put their values all over us. And there's been times it's worked to reinforce those values. You want me to be funny? I'll be funny. You want me to be the smartest person in the room? I can do that. You want me to work harder than anybody? I can do that. This is the time in your life when it's really important to claim what matters to you and make decisions from that place. And identifying your values will help you identify what you want to be known for. So what do you want to be known for? All right, friends, are there any questions? Whether you sent them in or you have them now. Yes. I am afraid to give you this microphone.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you the question that you're basically asking everyone else. What do you want to be known for?
That. That is a great question. I want to be known as the person that helps leaders that have no blind spots. And I do that through my values. What does it mean to say for them to have no blind spots? This was so good. We should have worked this in. This is really great. Thanks. I believe that to not have blind spots in our life means that we have looked at the shadows in us. Thank you. Oh, that's such a great amount of time. Thank you. I believe that as human beings, we all have blind spots. We have things that we don't see that are so wonderful. We have gifts and we have talents that we just can't really see and we can't acknowledge. And I think that those are probably the gifts and the talents that the world needs the most from you. And I think that when we have blind spots about the parts of ourselves that we're too scared to look at because we're afraid what we might find when we get there, I believe that all the magic of becoming who we were meant to be actually lives inside of that, and being courageous enough to grab the parts of ourselves that feel scary and bring them into the light, because there's nothing about you that's not ready to be seen. Yeah.
Based on your experience, is it possible to live or work with people with different values? Or
Great question. I love this question. Absolutely. Because we live in a world where we all have different values. And so here's what's really interesting. One of my biggest values is inclusion. And so if I choose to only surround myself with people who only share my values, I've already stepped on one of my own. And besides, the world is so boring if you constantly surround yourself with people in your same belief system and in your same space. So by choosing to work with people of different values, you get a chance to expand that. But here's what's really interesting. You can have individual values inside of your team, but that's even more of a reason to define team values. What are the team values that together you've all committed to honoring as part of that team? Yeah. You can create manifestos, you can create codes of excellence, and it's a really great way for actually people to share their top values And then it creates a good sense of dialogue. Remember my example about the angry cat? If you're working on a team and you have language around values, when things don't work, when things are not done on time, you can now be talking about the values instead of the behavior. Yeah.
What do you do if budget of the organization of the company is limited? And how do you make the priorities if the values are completely different? By example, I want to focus on inclusion accessibility, and a team might, by example, want to go all the way on sustainability. And to do both, time is money and resources are money. So what do you do if to complete other values you need to solve at the same budget and time?
I'm going to answer this quickly because I know I'm out of time and I want to honor that process. My fast answer is you hire me to facilitate a workshop. Shameless plug. But my second answer, and this is a really great question because this is a deeper level values, is I have something I call the bridge values. You might have one value, I might have another, and they are very far from each other. But there is no doubt a value that binds the two and can allow the two to live together. And together, that's the value that we as a team claim. Yeah, cool. Friends, thank you so much for coming. Have a great time. I'll see you later.
Thank you so much, Angela, for a very wonderful session. So we have 5 minutes left for Q&A. So even other people have been asking questions already, but yeah, we have a dedicated 5-minute slot for Q&A. So if anybody has any question you'd like to ask, I guess, yeah, you could do that now.
Let's keep going. He's got a question.
Hey, Angela. I'll try to keep it simple, but basically, how can this thing works in a remotee environment? Because, I mean, I am a remotee, I work as a remotee 3 years now, and it's basically sometime people hidden their thoughts because, I mean, we see each other 2 times per year, so it's not worth to share something that, I mean, I care of, so I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, how can we deal with this missing interaction because of the distance, because of the no physical interaction?
This is an amazing question because I actually want to open this even more, which is that he's being specific with teams. But it's both teams and life, right? Like we now have people that we love that are all across the country. So I will talk to teams, but I do want everyone to plant that seed as well as it relates to your friends and your family, okay? Because I want to make sure that we can play these through a variety of things. First of all, what it sounds like to me is you have no company culture statement. So as soon as I hear a question like that, sorry, is your boss in this room? Thank God. Okay. When there is fracturing on teams and this kind of question comes up, like, I didn't know how they think. I don't know what they're thinking. That is a top-down problem, okay? There is someone in your leadership that did not decide that it was important enough to make it incredibly clear what the values and the culture was inside of that organization. And if you are at the top and you're sitting in this room, you really do have a responsibility to make sure that this shows up inside of your environment. Okay. This is a great opportunity for, again, I'm going to answer it from the top down. That's something that needs to come from senior leadership. It needs to be something that you have to understand. What are the values that we are trying to uphold that honors what's happening above us? If we look at Uber, is anyone familiar with how their culture has worked? It's trash. Okay. That was a top-down culture. When senior leadership was making choices on the things that Uber would do to get ahead, they didn't have to tell everyone else how things were going to be done. People at all levels started acting the same way as senior leadership, okay? So that's a result of culture kind of trickling down. There was no statement, but behavior was mimicked, okay? So that's a really interesting thing because you can actually absorb values and culture from your company. So when they are not defined, it becomes very damaging. And I'm sure a lot of you, I can see these nods of like, I have no idea what my company believes in. And so when it comes to being remote, if you do not have the opportunity to get that and you are in a leadership position, I would encourage you to ask everyone these 2 exercises. It takes no time. I had all this time for questions. It doesn't take a lot of time to identify these 2 things, and you can get people to be sharing them with each other, and probably even make a single document so that the values from every single person on that team are maybe on a README, and that way it's something that can constantly be referred to. Great. Did I answer the question? Yeah. Great. Coming to the back.
Thanks. So let's go back to the dishwasher example. So you said that makes you really angry. It violates value of yours. So why don't you leave him? I mean, no, that was a joke, but the real question is.
No, this is a great question. Okay, so thank you for asking the uncomfortable questions. So the 2 values that get compromised when my partner doesn't unload the dishwasher are follow through and being committed to your word. Okay. When I look at those values that get stepped on by the dishwasher, I then do an 80,000-foot zoom out and I say, are there other places that follow through and not keeping your word are alive in my relationship? No, it's only with the dishwasher. So in that situation, I know that there's not something there. However, and this is why it's a great question, if you have a tendency to push away your needs, your desires, and that little whisper in the back of your mind that says, I think I want more than this, then when your values get stepped on, take the 80,000-foot view and notice how many other places are these values getting stepped on. And if it's a lot of places, you now have a chance to really evaluate, is this a relationship, a friendship, a community, a company, a neighborhood, an apartment I want to live in? And that's why it's really impactful to look at that. I loved that question. Thank you. Good one. Yeah. Now it's officially time to close, isn't it? All right. It's good. Friends, thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great time. Thank you, Stephen.